Hello, welcome to 8.9 News. I'm Costain. A major project led by Northumbria University will bring together a network of academic experts, manufacturers, major fashion brands and consumers to examine how the environmental impact across the fashion and textiles industry is measured and assessed. Currently, around 60% of the fabrics used for clothes is from primary synthetic sources, all of which must be swiftly replaced if humanity is to meet its net zero and biodiversity commitments, meaning that farming and land management play a critical role in fashion's future. Dr. Alana James is leading the project. I asked her to describe the global impact of the fashion industry and to tell me about the particular problems that this project aims to overcome.
So I don't think it's any secret that the fashion industry contributes significantly to both social and environmental impact through the way it currently operates, through its processes and its practices. But there are a breadth of key issues, obviously, that need to be addressed. But a lot of these challenges, they come back to the rate of consumption of low quality clothing that we're seeing time and time again, obviously within developed countries. And this is largely due to the accessibility of clothing, obviously acting as a catalyst with the fast and the ultra fast fashion business model. So this rate of consumption draws on natural and often finite resources. It relies on fast and often unethical social practices within the supply chain. And naturally, it results in a large quantity of waste clothing from often premature disposal, which often leads to incineration or deposits to landfill. So this project obviously can't tackle all of these really large, complex global challenges. But what we do hope to achieve is to accurately be able to analyse the environmental impact created through those processes across the product value chain. So current measurement methods, they often rely on self-reported data, which goes largely unverified and is often isolated to particular environmental impacts. So it might look at water usage, for example, or carbon footprint. And it is this kind of tunnel vision which we're really wanting to overcome through our work, adopting a more holistic and evidence-based data set to assess environmental impact across the fashion industry.
Now, farmers are primary producers of fibre, from cotton to leather and many things in between. How do you plan to engage with land managers to assess options for sustainable and more regenerative fibre sources in the future?
So the premise of this project is to create a network. So we want to assemble critical knowledge from the full breadth of the value chain, which will naturally include land managers and textile manufacturers, for example. So the project is based on findings from a research project that we carried out slightly earlier this year, where we explored microfiber pollution within terrestrial environments. And during this time, we engaged with land managers and the agricultural sector. So for these reasons, we're obviously very keen to continue working with these vital stakeholders, ensuring that their voice is heard, but also to create those connections between their own sector and other sectors as well. So brands, for example, consumers, we're wanting to facilitate that conversation between all those crucial actors.
So to integrate regenerative food and fashion production, we'll need to redesign supply chains and invest in new processing infrastructure. Do you expect this project to provide knowledge and connections that will help to support policy shifts, both private and public, that favour innovation and investment?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the unique elements of this project is how we're working both across stakeholders. So we're not focusing on just one area of the fashion and textile industry, but more crucially, working across disciplines as well. So the core team includes designers such as myself, but then a range of scientists as well. So we're working within forensic science, environmental and data science as well. And what we're really hoping to do is create this connection between the sciences and design to help to utilize this knowledge and these skills to address these global challenges. And we hope that one of the key outputs from the project will be these cross-disciplinary communities of practice, which in our opinion is really crucial to driving this forward. So we want to allow science-driven data to inform and direct future innovation, both through materiality and through processes within the fashion and textile supply chain. So we're hoping that this will lead to environmental considerations being positioned at the beginning of the supply chain through research and development processes, rather than trying to address them at the end of the value chain, which is what we're commonly seeing at the moment.
Now, just a final question. It strikes me that a lot of the challenges around the fashion supply chain are not dissimilar to the food supply chain. And I wonder, in the future, do you see this sort of global trade in fashion as being something that continues, with large fashion houses driving an awful lot of the consumption that takes place on the high street? Or do you see a growth in those smaller, perhaps more sort of national supply chains for fibre and the fashion that arises from them?
I mean, I don't think we're ever going to be able to move completely to kind of smaller, bespoke fashion industry players. I think there's always going to be that mass consumption of clothing at a large global scale. But I think there has to be a balance. I think what we're seeing at the moment is the balance has tipped. We've seen that kind of shift to consumers really craving large quantities of low quality clothing. And I think we need to readdress that balance in terms of not only where we buy our clothing from, but the quantity in which we buy it as well. So I don't want to be idealistic and say, yes, we're going to move to this very kind of localized regenerative model. Obviously, that's ideal scenario, but I think we have to be quite realistic, and it's about kind of regaining that balance and composition across the sector.
That was Dr. Alana James from Northumbria University. More about this and our other headline news on our website, 8point9.com. That's all for now. We're back soon. Thanks for watching.